I'm Dr. Leia Eddy, Assistant Professor of S&M Training College, Muthugundu. Throughout these days, you might have come across different modules of assessment and evaluation. After the independence of India, the Indian government has taken the education of Indian people in a serious manner, and they have appointed different commissions for its improvement. One of the suggestions came from the commission was continuous and comprehensive evaluation. Now let's check that in detail. Continuous and comprehensive evaluation. This refers to the system of evaluation of the learner that covers all aspects of the learner development. So CC is mainly intended to provide a holistic profile of the learner by assessing his scholastic as well as co-scholastic aspects of education. As we know, learning is a continuous process. And just like that, it's a comprehensive process also. Hence, evaluation should be also a continuous and comprehensive process like the learning. As I have already stated in the introduction, after independence, the Government of India has taken the education in a serious manner, and therefore continuous and comprehensive evaluation came as part of NP, that is National Policy of Education, in 1986. And later in its program of action also this was given much importance, and right to education as well as all those things which is related with the education of India, they all focus the importance of this continuous and comprehensive education. And we know this has mainly two key words. One is continuous and the other one is comprehensive. So continuous means it refers to the continuity and the regularity of the assessment during the whole session or during the whole program which the child undergoes. And comprehensive means it refers to the areas of assessment which includes his scholastic as well as co-scholastic aspects of learner's growth. By assessing the child in one particular area, one develop the student as a whole. So for the holistic development of the child, you need to focus on both scholastic as well as co-scholastic area. So again back to continuous evaluation, as I have already said, it refers to the continuity and regularity of assessment. Continuity is made feasible by employing formal and informal methods of assessment. In some ways you need to evaluate the child in a formal way, otherwise also informally also. Maybe you may be using the method of observation, you may be interacting with the child in a very usual manner, in an informal way. But during all these time you will be assessing or you will be evaluating the child. Now how long it will take, that's the greatest question that is posed here. So before I say something, I just would like to quote the film Ayyappan and Koshi. In fact, after viewing that whole film, it was difficult for the viewers to judge who was villain or who was the hero, because the whole characters, the characteristics of the character, see, the characteristics of the character sometimes shift them from the role of villain to the role of hero, as well as from the role of hero to the role of villain. So that's again a question that can we assess a student simply by evaluating him for a few hours? You can evaluate a film simply by watching its climax. Then how can I judge a child who has lot of potentialities and talents simply by evaluating a paper which he has written in 3 hours and you are evaluating that within 10 minutes? So it's not possible to find out his all potentialities, his all talents, all his knowledge, or his abilities within that 10 minutes. And he may not be able to present all his abilities within the 3 hours also. So in that sense, the concept of continuous and comprehensive evaluation came out. Continuous in the sense it continues throughout the process of that particular course, that particular program. And comprehensive means it should evaluate all his qualities, all his talents, all his skills. Thus, the whole development of the child should be assessed. Next is comprehensive evaluation. Now, it's an assessment system which includes both scholastic and co-scholastic aspects of development. Scholastic aspect means the cognitive growth in specific subject area. Now, in the case of academics, it includes all the subjects that child study as part of that particular program. And co-scholastic aspect means growth in affective and psychomotor areas. That means the interest of the child, the attitude of the child, the values of the child, even his personal and social qualities. So, it's a multidimensional in nature, and hence variety of evaluation tools and techniques are used. And as I have already stated, while measuring the scholastic area, the evaluation for that is made based upon projects, assignments, or practicals or seminar that you give in the class, or the records and collection by the child, and of course as part of class test. And co-scholastic area, they are required to develop the physical growth, development of social and personal qualities, interest, attitudes, values, etc. So, the term co-scholastic activities, it means that co-scholastic, that means it's go along with the scholastic activities, right? So, it's used for both cognitive and non-cognitive development that can take place by exposing the child to both scholastic as well as non-scholastic subjects. So, it includes art education, then physical education, yoga, NCC, scouts, etc., then martial arts. So many things that comes as part of education, but not as part of scholastic activities, but along with that, it comes along and develop the child in a holistic view. So, the areas mainly include work experience, that is making of teaching aids and school stationery items or artistic or eco related items. Children make that very beautifully, isn't it? So that comes as part of that. Or else it could be art education, that is drawing and clay modeling, music, acting, dancing, etc., which has the importance of aesthetic value. Then health and physical education. As we know, health education includes personal hygiene, environmental hygiene, then knowledge related to nutrition, first aid, communicable diseases, and about disease resistance, etc. And physical education, again, it's related with games and sports, then physical abilities, drill and march, recreational games, physical exercises, etc. So not only these areas, other than these areas, it includes some personal and social qualities like leadership quality, communication skill, character and contact, regularity, group working skill, and participation and performance in school club activities. So these are the two areas of scholastic and co-scholastic activities. Next is why we are doing this CCE. So what is the main objectives behind this CCE? First thing is that you should not keep on teaching and teaching. Evaluation should be an integral part of this teaching and learning process. Second thing is that it should improve the student's achievement through diagnosis and remediation. See, actually the teaching learning process is going on and the child is not able to achieve as of his potential. So there arises a question, what is the problem that the child is facing? So for diagnosing that, you need to have some kind of evaluation that help you to diagnose the problem of the child, and thus the teacher can provide some remediation to that particular child. So we could say CCE helps in diagnosis and remediation. That is one of the main objective of CCE. Then to make judgment and to take timely decision for learning process, learning pace, and the learning environment. Not only the teacher, the student can himself know what are his drawbacks, what are his problems. Then according to that, he could completely plan his learning process. Then it helps to maintain the standards of attainment based upon the potentiality of the child. You could fix the standard of attainment. Then it provides a scope for self-evaluation. The child could evaluate himself. Even teacher could evaluate their own teaching strategies and methods. So it provides a platform for self-evaluation. Next is the principles of CCE. There are certain principles based upon CCE is developed. One is the flexibility. That means the CCE process should be flexible. Don't think that you have fixed a particular time for the submission of assignment and afterwards the child can't submit it, or you have fixed a time for the project and the child cannot submit it after that. It should be flexible. It should be flexible with respect to time schedule, the needs, the convenience to organize assessment, the diagnosis and remediation. So the teacher should be very flexible while fixing the criteria and while giving the work to the child. And next one is functionality. That is, you have seen some kind of criteria, some kind of assessment going on somewhere else, and you think that okay, I can use it in my area also, but you can't use it until and unless it's workable in your existing situation of the institution. So that should be again assessed and judged, then only you can choose that mode of assessment. Then third one is the accountability. That is, the teacher should be a committed person. As we know, in the whole teaching learning process, the teacher is the one who must be very accountable. The teacher must take the responsibility of teaching as well as the responsibility of the students. Then only that process will become a divine one and a committed and sincere work. So here also the teacher should be very committed and very involved in the assessment. No personal bias should come in the process of evaluation. So the teacher should be very committed and very sincere while doing this process of evaluation. The next one is economy. The teacher should plan it in such a way that it should save time, effort and resources. It should not be too time consuming. It should not be a difficult task for the students. So the teacher should have a good planning for the implementation of that. Next is, you must know what is CCE and what is not CCE. One is that don't think that by giving test papers and examination on every day and every week is CCE. No, that's not CCE. In fact, assessing students on a continuous basis but in a cyclic manner is CCE. And giving lots of work like homework, assignments or project works, that's not CCE. But collaborating projects, research works in groups and balancing that across subjects is CCE. And stimulating or invoking fear in your students on the name of assessment, that's not CCE. But you could help them by saying that, okay, if you are having some problems in your academic area, it's fine. You are still a brilliant child because you have good skills in your scholastic area. So that should be a way to encourage your students. Then fourth one is believing that formative assessment is meant for the students and not an indicative feedback mechanism of teachers' teaching methodology is not CCE. Don't think that this CCE is meant for the students and only for evaluating the students. No, it's meant for evaluating the teachers' teaching strategies and methods also. And therefore, it helps the teacher in evaluating their own teaching and helps to diagnose their problems as well as the problem of the child. Then don't think that it's something very secretive in nature. Usually I have seen people keeping the internal marks as a very secretive thing. It's not like that. You should inform the parents and the students about the different parameters of assessment so that they could improve themselves in that particular parameter. And therefore, there must be a continuous interaction with the parents with regard to students and the progress, performance, etc. Now, these are the techniques and tools by which you could assess the scholastic area. It includes all school subjects, or else if you are teaching in a college, it includes all the subjects for which the child has enrolled himself. The techniques used are oral tests, written tests, projects, practical tests, etc. You can ask simply oral questions and that can be used as a tool, or you can give them question papers for a test, or classworks, unit tests, assignments, diagnostic tests. All these comes under this category. Again, asking questions during teaching learning process, monthly test, all these comes as part of this. Therefore, the periodicity can be fixed in this way, and the result is marked as either direct or indirect grading. Grading that you will learn later. Okay. Next is the assessment of core scholastic area. It includes not only the personal and social qualities, it includes the interest, values, attitudes, etc. Also, the techniques used are interview, observation. Then for assessing his physical growth, you could use medical checkups, etc. And the tools used here are observation, writing skills, checklists, etc. And again, the periodicity is day-to-day observation by the teacher. Then reporting can be done using grades. Now, based upon this CCE, some innovative programs was recommended, and these recommendations mainly focused on 4 areas, which was evaluation of scholastic and co-scholastic areas, then continuous internal assessment, then introduction of semester system. You know what is semester system, and again the introduction of grading system. All these things you will learn later in the coming modules. So these are the basic concepts about CCE. If you have any doubt, please feel free to contact me.